All right, is everybody ready? Let me get a ready in the chat if you guys are ready for this tutorial on how to go about setting up your trading view. You know, if this was the first time that you're pulling up the trading view chart, it's by default going to have green and red candlesticks. And to be honest, even this isn't even the true default. This is the default right here. And so I'll be honest, like I've never really liked TradingView in the default state. You can get it to work for you. Some of you guys like red and green candlesticks. That's cool. But this is the true default. Couple of things I want to go over really quickly. And this is going to be a full like in-depth tutorial how to set up TradingView the same way I have mine set up, and some other considerations that are important and cool with TradingView. So first things first, this is what it looks like in terms of the visual when you first get TradingView. First thing I'll point out is the fact that you can favorite intervals of time to be at the top of the bar here for ease of access. So the ones that I would recommend that you have favorited are the 5-minute, 15-minute, the 1 hour, 4 hour, and the daily. That's it. You're like, well, Don, you have some more that are favorited. Guys, don't worry about the extra ones that I have favorited. The ones that you should focus on the most are the daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 15-minute, 5-minute. Some of you guys are spending way too much time on the 1 minute, and if you just remove that from your list, you'll be more dialed in and focused on what actually matters, what's more relevant, which is the higher time frames and more relevant intraday time frames like the 5-minute, 15-minute. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, you have different types of charts that you can look at and view. The line chart and the candlestick chart are the two that I only, the only two that I use and the ones that I use the most. And the reason that I'll use the line chart is because you will see that wicks are not taken into consideration on the line chart. If I were to circle a couple of wicks here, all right, these are not taken into consideration on the line chart. So this is something that I'll use to support me with market structure, okay? To support me with market structure and knowing really what are we seeing in terms of market structure and candle closures, because that's what really matters with market structure is candle closures, not so much wicks, all right? So that's the second thing. Now, in terms of getting your canvas to look the same as mine, all right, and this is, what mine looked like, just to show you guys. All right, this is what it looks like right here. To go from this to that is really quite simple. Okay, what you're gonna wanna do is go into chart settings. First things first, if you're on the trading tab, you might be on the symbol tab by default. You can change the color of your candle bodies, the borders, and the wick in here. So I have everything black with the exception of up close candles, which are yellow. Now you might be like, okay, I believe this is yellow as well for mine. You might be like, okay, Don, that's a crazy color scheme to have with the gray background, the dark background, right? Well, this is how you change that. You go to canvas and you go to the background color. And I have mine on like a subtle gray. Right now it's set to gradient, but I like it to be solid. And it's more or less like this. For some reason, our candle colors are off a little bit. There we go. This is what it looks like right here. Okay, this is how it looks. Now, another thing to consider. Right-hand side, you can see the numbers are kind of faded. You can't really see on the X and Y axis what you're looking at for dates and times. I'll go over this right now until we come back to this. Grid lines, just horizontal. And I have this on for like very, very subtly horizontal lines that are black, so I can see them. And this is something that I'll refer to just for quarters theory, numbers theory, but rarely. Crosshair, I have it black. I have it dotted like this, and it just looks clean for me. Here we are, scales, text, black, lines, black. I want to see this nice and easily on the edges of my chart like so. Okay, boom. Now your chart looks the exact same as mine. This in the top left corner, if ever you're doing paper trading on TradingView, you can use those tools to buy and sell. Or if you're actually trading on an account with the TradingView, a broker that's eligible to connect to TradingView, you can actually execute trades directly on the chart, which is cool. But normally I just trade on MetaTrader, so I get rid of those buy and sell buttons by going to trading and toggling this off. And yeah, cool. So now let's talk about the tools that I have favorited on my TradingView bar. And this is really good for educating and teaching all these tools, but also there's a few that I would recommend you use to identify key points of interest, areas of liquidity, and so on and so forth. things that are going to be relevant for you with your institutional trading or just trading in general, depending on how you trade. So left-hand side, all right, I have the dot favorited, which is the cursor that allows me to move the chart around, okay? In case you guys didn't know, if ever your chart gets super mangled, right, you can drag the y-axis and the x-axis to you know, navigate the chart, or you can, if you're on a mouse pad or a laptop with the little cursor pad thing, 2 fingers up and down on the cursor pad to scroll out the same way that I am right now. That way you're not like trying to go like this to zoom. It's very inefficient. 2 fingers up, down, you're going to be able to zoom very nicely. But let's say your chart looks like this. You're like, man, this looks like a nightmare. I can't analyze this. Y-axis, double click, it'll reset the candles to the way they're supposed to look. Or another way to reset it, right click on the chart, reset chart view. Little nugget of gold there. But now going back to the favorited tools that I use here. So the dot, crosshair, you know, arrow, whatever you want to use, you can use. The trend line tools, I use trend line, not for really using or taking trades off of the trend line, but I'll show you guys what I use that for in a second. Horizontal ray, I like to use, which looks like this. And it draws a line across the screen to the right. Fibonacci retracement tool. People are always asking me, Don, what are your fib settings? You know, what fib settings do you recommend? And the reality is you can use any fib settings you want, but what I would recommend and what looks the cleanest, this is a very key point, make sure you guys are taking a screenshot of this, are these levels here. I do have a training that goes in depth into these levels under my past weekly sessions. For those of you that are a part of the community, if for whatever reason you're seeing this video and you're not, go down below in the video description and I'm happy to give you some more information on how to join our community. But essentially, you have very clean settings, levels. I'm not sure how well you guys are able to see these, so let me make it a little bit bigger text. I think I can make a bigger text, can I? Font size, 20. Okay, these are the levels. All right, these are the levels. I'm not going to go into it in this video, but if you want some more information about these levels, you can reach out to me on Instagram. Send me the message FIB, F-I-B on Instagram, and I can send you over a video that goes deep into understanding these levels, why we use these levels, so on and so forth. And yeah, background, you want to have this toggled off. Use one color, you want to have this toggled on, and then you can set each of these levels to whatever color you want. Simple fib settings, if you're like, Don, this is too much. Here are simple fib settings to give you the areas of premium and discount in a range. So if we're seeing price trading higher, and this is the current range that we're in from low to high, I'm going to measure from the low to the high. And I have with this fib settings, just the 1, 0.5, and 0 on the settings. So I know anything below the 50% is a discount. Anything above the 50% is a premium. We want to buy low and sell high. So typically we're buying at a discount, selling at a premium. So that's the fib tool, okay? Next tool, projection tools, long position, short position. Of course, we use these, and I encourage everybody to favorite these so that they're on your trading bar, your TradingView toolbar. That way you can pull up, and if there's a trade that you want to take, you can measure it with precision for long positions, right? And then short positions, right? Buys or sells, depending on what you're looking at. You always want to map out your trade before you take it. And for obvious reasons, right? You know, most successful people that are trading, they have a predetermined entry and exit, whether it's at a loss or a profit. So always predetermine your entries and exits using these tools, okay? What else we got? We have the price range. So this tool I actually don't really use anymore, but if you guys wanted to, just for example, let's say you were like, all right, cool, this is a pretty big move from this low to this high. I want to measure that. There is a measurement tool on the left-hand side, and it'll tell you how to get the shortcut on your chart. So for me, it's shift, and I can click on the chart and it'll automatically give me a measurement tool. So if I'm like, all right, from here to here, I've clicked shift and I'm clicking on the screen and it's going to measure that move for me, 15 pips. All right, cool. And it's also going to measure the amount of time that it took. So if I'm like, I want to know how long it's been from here to here, it'll tell me 5 hours, 69 bars. It's just funny. Anyways, moving forward, okay? Next tool, the brush tool. This is amazing for educating. It's amazing for sharing with another person on Zoom or in person what it was that you were looking for, or to doodle. Okay, you can doodle, you can do all kinds of stuff with the brush tool. I've already used it in this tutorial video, okay, to highlight this high and this low and whatever you want to use for the brush tool. It's a great tool. I use it a lot for educating. We also have the rectangle. The rectangle will be your best friend as an institutional trader. You can see I kind of have these ordered in relevance in my favorites bar. The dot is what I use the most to navigate the chart. The path tool, we're going to talk about that in a second. Rectangle, probably the most used tool that I have in here, if not the most, probably one of the most. Fibonacci tool, text, sometimes I'll use that. Horizontal array, trend line, and so on and so forth. Okay, so going back to the rectangle, let me give you guys a little tidbit. Any tool that you have that you're using on TradingView, a lot of people don't know this, you can save templates. So if I'm like, all right, anytime that there's a point of interest that I want to highlight with the rectangle, like an order block or a fair value gap or whatever, you can save templates. So for me, my point of interest template, my order block template, or FU candle template, if you don't know what any of those words are, don't worry. Keep coming back to the channel or tapping in with your boy, and you'll learn what those terms are. But you can save templates. So if I'm like, all right, cool, I'm happy with these settings. Maybe I want them to be like green. Maybe I want it to be red. Maybe I want it to be blue. Okay, that's actually a nice blue. What I can do is I can go to the settings, right? How do I get there? Click on the little gear thingy, settings. And then you go down to templates and you click the little arrow and you go save as. Blue. Save. Perfect. Now, I have a bunch of different presets. So I have fair value gap preset, which is blue with a line directly in the middle at the 50%. That's an option you have in the rectangle setting. You can toggle that on or off. It can be a solid line. It can be a dotted line, whatever you'd like. All right. But the reason that I love this so much is it's very time efficient. If I'm like, okay, cool, here's an area of quote unquote support. Maybe I have a pre-saved setting for support that is green, because support is, green, but you want to buy from support is what all the retail traders are taught, right? Just as an example, okay? And then here we have an area of quote unquote resistance. So maybe I have one that's pre-saved and it's called, resistance, and it's red, just like this. So now I can color code each of the rectangles very efficiently with these templates, and I don't have to spend time trying to change the colors all the time. I can save the templates and just be off to the races. So rectangle tool, best friend, especially if you're an institutional trader. We use this thing all the time. All right, anytime you see fair value gaps or order blocks marked up on my chart, I'm constantly using the rectangle to mark those up. Cool, so that's the rectangle tool. Next tool, we have the path tool. Again, very effective for teaching and educating, but you can essentially, with the path tool, just chart a path. You can draw it out, higher highs and higher lows, lower lows and lower highs, however you want to use the tool. When you're done using it, you can just click twice in the zone or in the spot, and it'll finish drawing the line. And you can do, obviously straight line, dash line, dotted line, whatever, right? You guys get the point with that. That's everything from the brushes tab. Text, obviously pretty straightforward what text is. However, anchored text is a cool one that a lot of people don't know about. If I'm on an education session and I want to show someone something like the recipe, which we talk about on these sessions quite frequently, where I'm currently recording this live with everybody, shout out to those of you guys that are on here live. Anchored text, regardless of where I move the chart, it's staying in one place. So what I like to do is I'll have my little checklist sometimes in the bottom left corner of my screen. And no matter what I'm looking at, if I'm about to take a trade, I have an easy point of reference. All right, what is my entry checklist, confirmation checklist? Let me refer to that quickly and make sure that everything is here before taking the trade. So really cool tool. Definitely recommend that one. And then obviously regular text, you can be like, whatever. And when you move the chart, it will move with the chart. All right. Price label, I don't really use this one too much unless I'm calling out a trade idea, but you can drag this in wherever it is. It will give you the exact price of that specific point. Now, last thing I'm going to show you are the trend line settings that I have pre-saved, because these are, especially if you're an institutional trader, these are levels and presets that you're going to want to have to identify liquidity, capture liquidity, liquidity grabs, things of that nature. Okay. So for example, if I'm looking at this on screen and I can identify that we had an area of quote unquote support right here where price came down, we had one bounce, second bounce, and then we had this huge sell-off here, right? I can go ahead and I can draw my trend line. Check this out. This is cool. Using depending on what device you're on, if you're on a Windows computer, the control key will automatically magnet your cursor to the high or low of whatever candle you're currently under. So notice how my cursor is here. If I wanted to like snap to this wick, I can be all the way down here, click control, it's going to snap to the wick and start drawing the line from there. All right, if I hit control, it's going to snap to any area on the chart, which is very efficient and effective if I'm wanting to measure, let's say these two equal lows with accuracy and precision. I can do so just like that. Another thing you can do, trend line, I can snap it to here. And let's say I wanted to make it a perfectly straight line. If you're on Mac, by the way, to do the snapping like this, instead of it being control, it's command. All right, right now I'm on a Mac, I'm using command instead of control. Okay. If I'm wanting to just draw a straight line, right, even though my cursor's up here, I can click the shift key and it's going to automatically snap it to be horizontal. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can even go diagonally with it. All right. But you can snap it and it'll be exactly as you want it to be. So this is why I'm able to navigate a chart so quickly, is because I know these tricks. Okay. So presets. There are a couple very, very important presets that I want to share with you guys. The first of which are for market structure shifts. When you're looking at market structure, higher highs and higher lows, okay, where price is creating higher highs and higher lows consecutively. I'm just drawing randomly on the chart here. But here we had a market structure shift where price came and we took out a previous low. For example, this is not an actual, markup. I'm just for fun showing you guys this. I like to have a preset that even though it's a trend line, it has an arrow at the end of it. It's red and the text reads market structure shift. That way, even though it's a trend line tool, I can have an arrow on the trend line and I can say with clarity from this low to this lower low, that was a quote market structure shift, just as an example. And I can pull up that whenever I'd like. And I have market structure shift LL for lower low, market structure shift higher high. The only difference is where the text is placed. One's on the top, one's on the bottom, depending on the scenario. Next thing is liquidity. Okay, two relatively equal lows, an area of quote unquote support is referred to as liquidity. I have the liquidity sell side or downside liquidity preset, which is basically just a regular trend line with a dollar sign on the other side of it. So I can very easily identify liquidity with the trend line. Same thing, right? Inversely, buy side liquidity or upside liquidity, I have it on the top. Sell side, I have it on the bottom. So I have two different presets for those two different options. I have a similar setting. Instead of it being a dollar sign, it's literally just an X, and that is for taken downside liquidity. So we can see price traded through that level. We took that out. That is captured liquidity. We've now taken out that area of quote unquote support. I have an X there to signify that. Now you can get even more creative and do all kinds of different cool things with the presets and the templates. I just wanted to show you a few that I think are essential for institutional trading and being able to clearly identify and mark up your chart with clarity. Aside from that, I mean, that's pretty much it. If you guys are curious about what I use or what currency pairs I look at or what assets I look at, these are my main ones right here. If you didn't know, you can have sections. I'm not sure if this is available on the free version of TradingView. It might only be paid, but you can have different sections and different colored flags for certain assets or currency pairs or stocks or whatever the case is. But the main ones that I trade, DXY, which is the dollar index, Euro USD, which is euro against the US dollar, of course, GBP USD, USD CAD. Sometimes I'll look at this and trade it, not too frequently. Goldilocks, of course, right? XAU, USD, gold. We love gold. Bitcoin, we also love Bitcoin. And Ethereum I'll look at sometimes because it correlates with Bitcoin. Okay. You can make sections in your list. So I have a section here, right? You can click the plus sign and add a symbol. You can also right click on a current pair that you have in your list and you can go add section. It'll add a section above. You can drag it, rearrange it however you want. And in case you guys didn't know, if ever you're like, hey, you know, Jeffrey, you're getting involved in trading. Awesome. You're using TradingView. Great. Let me send over my exact watch list if you want to take a look at the same one as me. You can do that. A lot of people don't know this. Settings. Actually, hold on. Now I got to remember how to do this. Hold on. You can't do it. Okay, here it is right here. If I click on whatever the name of my list is, I can go import list and I can also share list. And then I get a copy link and this person can then import the list. That usually is going to be from like a computer, but I'm pretty sure there's a way for them to input it as well. You can just click the link and it'll automatically bring up their TradingView and they can add it to their list, which is kind of cool. So actually I'll share this with you guys that are watching this live. But that's pretty much it. You know, the only thing that I didn't go over that I'll go over quickly is alerts. The way you can set an alert. Let's say that on Bitcoin, I want to know if and when price comes beneath this low. All right, I can right click at this low and I can choose add alert. Now you can do all kinds of modifications with alerts. I'm not going to get into the deep, in-depth how to use alerts on TradingView right now, but you can name the alert taking low, whatever. You can do every time we cross that level or only once. And now instead of me having to be glued to my chart, because some of us like to be glued to the chart and it's not something that you should be in a habit of, right? Get up, go live, do your thing. You can set an alert and now when price trades beneath that level, you'll be notified. Then you can pull up the chart and you don't have to be living and breathing existence on the charts. Okay, set alerts, set it, forget it, go about your business, come back to it kind of thing. All right, but with that being said, that pretty much wraps it up for how to set up your TradingView the same way that I have mine set up. Hopefully this was of value. You can also make different chart layouts if you're on the paid version of TradingView, so that's cool. That's how I was able to make this video without messing up my main chart, which we're about to go back to right now. But yeah, if you got some value, let me know in the comment section if you're seeing this on YouTube, and looking forward to seeing you guys in another one very, very soon. And for those of you guys that are watching live, hopefully that was valuable. All right, peace out.